Shalom, this is Rabbi Yehoshua, and what I'm observing is that people are afraid to use their own minds to investigate issues for themselves, to use their own critical thinking skills. That these abilities were given to us by Hashem in order to use. They're a gift from Hashem. We can't just pass the buck, give up this potential, these talents that God endowed us with, and allow someone else to make our decisions on our behalf. That's the way of children, really. A child uh, intellectual development to make his own decisions, and therefore the parent makes it on the behalf of the child. But we're grown-ups now. People view authority figures as if they are like their parents. And to some degree, there's a certain sense in viewing the government that way because people receive their sustenance externally, superficially from the government, especially through welfare, through the socialism that is part of our society. So when we receive, what feels like support from the government, from the state, although of course that's money that they took by force from the people, from the taxpayer, still we feel this dependence upon the state in a way that's very similar to the way a child looks at his or her parents. But yeah, we need to overcome um, that mindset. Use our own critical thinking skills about any issue, especially issues that relate to medical decisions about what we're going to put in our body or some intervention. Any intervention needs to be justified. Um, there's a status quo, and if someone wants to tell us that we need to intervene, we need to investigate to see is that intervention necessary. Is it necessary to stay home? Stay home saves life. Is it necessary to wear a mask? Is it necessary to uh, distance oneself from other people? All of these ideas have never had any rational basis. But people just accepted them because the authority figures said so, the quote experts, the phony experts, the official experts said so, the independent experts. Um, in any case, people make your own personal medical decisions for yourself. It's your body, your choice. You got to agree with that line, that feminist line in this context. For some reason, we don't hear the feminists saying that now. Um, and in this case, it's certainly your own body. There's no other body. And they're not even claiming that this gene therapy will prevent you catching yourself. It doesn't really affect other people at all. So it's only about you, even according to their twisted propaganda. So you should investigate for yourself and hear out all sides of the story and hear all the criticisms of the official narrative. Stop letting other people make that judgment. Other people who may have conflicts of interest, which subconsciously affect their judgment on these issues. Perhaps they're concerned about losing their position, about losing some kind of funding. You don't know. You don't know what's going on inside the other person. Perhaps they're even outright lying. They're telling a blatant, all-out, bold-faced lie. You could suspect people of that, suspect leaders of that when money is at stake, when power is at stake, when a career is at stake. You can suspect people of that. That's rational. You can even suspect that people who until then were trustworthy could have become compromised. Anyone can be compromised. Anyone can be bribed. Anyone can be blackmailed and threatened. So don't be naive and don't delegate this responsibility to anyone else. And you know what? Even if these other people, these supposed authorities, would not have any conflict of interest, it's still simply not their place to make your own personal medical decisions on your behalf. That's your personal choice, which you are entitled to have with free, informed consent to make your own personal choice about your own medical decisions, what will happen with your own body, and if any particular intervention is necessary. Your body, our bodies are a safekeeping from God. They don't belong to us, according to Judaism. They're a gift, a temporary safekeeping that we have the responsibility to look after. So each person has the responsibility to look after his or her own body. It's not someone else's place to make that decision on my behalf. It's my personal responsibility. Each individual has the personal responsibility to guard their body, to protect their body, and to use their own mind that God endowed them with to find out what is best and to avoid what might be harmful, and to consider the trade-offs. If there's some scenario where there's certain complexities, God will not accept the excuse that you relied on some doctor that people said is reliable, but you don't know him personally. You just know that people say that he's an expert. That's not good enough. Maybe he's compromised. God will not rely on, so God will not forgive. God will not um, accept the excuse that you relied on some religious leader, what he said, because that religious leader has as much expertise in these matters as you do. In fact, quite possible that uh, a regular person who spends time doing their own research um, could know a whole lot more than a religious leader who's just relying on the supposed expert whom he blindly, naively trusts to give him uh, you know, the the full story, the the accurate analysis. But the regular person who's not in some kind of official position, who's simply doing their homework and listening to all sides, could be a whole lot more educated than that religious leader. So therefore, when you choose to just simply rely on that leader, God will not let that go. God will judge you for that because you are not doing your due diligence to do the research with the mind that God gave you. So it, it's true, it's time consuming to do this research. It's very challenging. Um, you're met with all kinds of jargon that you don't understand. It's confusing. It's intimidating. It can get very technical. And also, really criticizing or thinking more deeply about all these issues creates the puts one in the position of going against the system, uh, questioning the entire system, questioning uh, things that in polite society are viewed as um, unquestionable, as sort of heretical to question. And that's a difficult position to be in. Tough luck. That's what God gave you your mind for, not to blindly obey. There's also the concern that once you start researching one topic, going down one rabbit hole, well, it's intimidating because you sense that one rabbit hole leads to another. And I can definitely testify that that's true. But that's just too bad. That's a reality that you're going to have to learn to deal with. If you want the truth, if you want to fulfill God's commandment to you to protect your body, to maintain your health, your safety, if you really want that, then may involve, it will involve facing unpleasant, um, poorly understood truths. It'll involve questioning the entire system, the entire medical system, the entire establishment, the entire matrix of control of our society. But until you've really and truly done this research and heard out all the sides and done it in a sincere and honest way, I would suggest that when it comes to any intervention, you follow the Talmudic dictum, Shev ba'al ta'aseh odif. And when in doubt, it's better to sit and do nothing, not to engage in any intervention unless you see that there's a solid justification for it, a need, and that it's truly safe. God bless. Shalom.